Notes 5-4a, still factoring in polynomials. This time we have a trinomial and where a is not equal to 1. You can see I labeled my trinomial. The x squared is the a, the x to the first is the b, and the c is the -6. So what we do here is, of course, say a is equal to 6, b is equal to +5, and c is equal to -6. Alright, now that a is greater than 1 in this video, there's a chance that we might be able to GCF and make these numbers smaller and easier to work with. So I look at 6, 5, and -6. There's nothing I can GCF out of that. I'll look at the variables, and I only see variables in 2 of the terms, so there's nothing in common, so there was no GCF. Then I'm going to go ahead and proceed to what we call the diamond method, but because a is greater than 1, we're going to use this thing called the star method. Similar to the diamond method, but this one's called the star. It's a hybrid of the AC method, where we're still going to take a times c up here, and we're still going to put a b here. A times c, or 6 times -6, is -36. B is, of course, equal to 5. And this is what I have to do, what makes it the star method, is because of this, 6x squared. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, alright, and I'm just going to place the 6x there and there. Alright, think of it as I'm making a fraction, and we know that fractions sometimes get reduced. Alright, so I took care of that, our leading coefficient, and our highest degree, 6x squared, and I placed it under here. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to fill in where I've colored it green. I'm going to ask myself two numbers that are multiplied together that give me 36, but if I added or subtracted, would give me 5. Now that means I'm going to have to go back to 3rd grade multiplication tables, and I can sit there and say 1 times 36, 6 times 6, but what works here is 4 times 9 is 36, and because it's a negative, I'm going to have to make one of these negative, and I'm going to make it 4. Now let's check. -4 times 9 is -36. Now when I add the -4 and the 9, I get 5. So at this time I am ready to go into the next step. So I'm right here right now. I have -4 over 6. I'm going to treat it like a fraction, and I'm going to ask myself, what can I divide 4 and 6 by? And that would be 2, and that would give me a -2, because -4 divided by 2 is -2, and 6 divided by 2 gives me a 3. I'll do the same here. 9 and 6x. What can I divide both of them by? And that's 3. So 9 divided by 3 is 3. And 6 divided by 3 is 2, and that gives me 2x. So these are going to be my new binomials. Watch. So you can see I took the -2 over 3. I put 3x first, minus 2. I'm going to come over here and work with this one. Put it in its binomial. I'll put the 2x first, and it's a +3. That is our answer. Alright, I have a trinomial, and it does look like a is greater than 1. And my a here is 6. My b is -7. And my c is equal to +18. Because a is greater than 1, I'm going to look for a GCF. 6, 7, and 18. I do not see anything plausible to divide or factor out of that. I looked at my trinomial. They have x, but not all of them have an x in common, so there's no GCF. So now I'm going to go and search using for factors using the diamond method. Alright, diamond method's here, but remember, A is greater than 1, so I'm going to use the star method. And what the star method is I'm going to place the 6x without the square underneath here. I'm going to put B down here at the bottom as we do with all the diamonds. I'm going to say 6 times 18, or A times C, and that's 108. And then I'm going to start looking for numbers multiplied together that give me 108. Alright, to help visualize this, I wrote 108 up. I'm looking for two numbers multiplied together that give me 108. And I'm going to go ahead and list some numbers. How about 9 times 12? How about 1 times 108? How about 2 times 54? 3 times 36? 4 times 27? And 6 times 8. Now remember, we're looking for factors, which are two numbers multiplied together to give me 108, but when I add them together, give me a negative 7. Alright, 9 plus 12, 9 minus 12, negative 9 plus 12. No, that would give me something like 21. That's not close. No way. 108. 54 is too large of a number. 36 is too large of a number. 27. Oh, hey, wait a minute. How about 6 and 8? If I added them together? No. If I subtracted them? No. Alright. I've run out of a list of possibilities. Well, we haven't seen this in a while. We haven't seen this since the first video. Whenever you don't have anything to GCF, or the diamond method doesn't work, or the grouping method doesn't work, you get this situation where it must be prime. Prime meaning that it's not factorable. So the answer here is prime. Overall, prime does happen, but not enough where most answers are prime. So I would avoid thinking most of the problems you're going to see are going to be prime. They're actually going to be ones that you're going to work out. Alright, the last problem in this section, once again we're going to factor completely, and if we can't factor we're going to write prime. That doesn't happen all the time. I'm going to start listing my A, B, and C in this trinomial. You can see A is equal to 4, B is equal to 26, C is equal to negative 48, A is greater than 1, so I'm looking for a GCF. I look at 4, 26, and 48, and wait a minute, they're all even. It looks like I might be able to GCF something out of all three of these numbers. So my GCF is 2, because 2 goes in all of them, and it's the largest number that is there. 4 can't go into 28. Alright, so our GCF. So if you remember how to work with GCF, I put the GCF, and then I'm going to go ahead and divide each of my terms. So 4 divided by 2 is 2, and that gives me x squared. And then 26 divided by 2 gives me 13, carry the x. And negative 48 divided by 2 gives me negative 24. Alright, I have a new trinomial right here. So I have to reevaluate. So I'm going to do it again. A is equal to 2. B is equal to 13, and C is equal to negative 24. Is there a GCF? 2, 13, and negative 24. 13 being odd, and it can't go in. 2 can't go into it, so I'm done there. So it looks like I did everything correctly on the first GCF. A is still greater than 1, so I'm going to break out not just the diamond, I'm going to break out the star. I'm going to, of course, start building, and you can see that 2x squared. That's going to allow me to, I'm going to put that 2x underneath here to build my diamond. I'm going to put my B, which was 13 there. On my top part, I'm going to put a times c, so 2 times negative 24 is negative 48. And then I'm going to have to start thinking of numbers multiplied together that give me 48, but when I add them or subtract them, they'll give me 13. Alright, so I need two numbers multiplied that give me 48. Well, 2 and 24, but I can't add them together and give me 13. I can sit there and go through my times table, and what we get is negative 3 and positive 16. Why negative 3? Because it's negative 48. Also, negative 3 plus 16 gives me 13. Alright, now I'm going to go and use the 2x and use it like a fraction and see if I can reduce. I look here, and negative 3 and 2 can't be reduced, so that's going to be my first binomial. Notice I put the 2x first. Now I'm going to look over here, and 16 and 2, yes, I can reduce both of them by 2, so that gives me 8 over x. So it'll give me my second binomial, x plus 8. Now I'm going to be very careful here. In the beginning, I GCF and I had a 2. It's still being multiplied by the original trinomial, so that means I got to carry it and put it right here in the front, and that's my final answer.